Hi Varun, good morning.
Good morning.
Do you have any doubts from last class or something, or any other doubts from any other chapter?
No, sir.
No. All right, then we'll wait for a couple of minutes for everybody to join and then we'll start. Okay.
Yes.
Varun, you're in Chennai, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So, is it raining and flooding there? Like, how is it over there?
Sir, in my area, it's not flooding, but it's raining.
Okay, okay. Which area are you in?
Velacheris.
Oh, Velachery, it's not flooding and it's raining. Okay, okay. Good, 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 good. All right. Because last time there were rains, Velachery, like I was staying in Torepakam. Okay, those areas were first, you know, hit badly. So,
Sir, I'm living like more in the main road area, so I'm not sure. Like within the.
no, this is not the main road area I'm talking about. When I wasn't in the main road area, a little inside only. So there, the drainage wasn't proper, so it just overflooded quickly.
Sir, here water will be. Like there will be many puddles over here. Like the water won't go easily, but it's not flooding.
Okay, okay, okay. That's good. That's good. That is good. Are you writing JE this time? Like January session?
Yes, sir.
Okay, okay, okay. Any chapter you want quick revision of it? Anything? Or I can give you some tips. Okay, this is what you need to focus on in this chapter. Any chapter you feel you're weak at. You know that?
Sir, like only binomial theorem only.
Binomial theorem. You know the main theorem, right? That
Yes.
sigma. Huh,
Yes.
that NCRT level theorem. Okay. So then comes what do I say? The summation problems. Are you talking about the summation problems in binomial theorem? Like
Mm,
NC0, NC1 plus NC1, NC2, and so on. Like things like this.
yes. Sir, and then there was something also called as a multinomial theorem or something like that.
That is just a fancy name for the same thing. I'll explain multinomial theorem quickly right now. I am sure this won't be very tough for you. Okay. Hmm. Like x plus y plus z plus w whole raised to n. How do you expand this? But like things like this. Binomial means you use only two terms and raise it to n, like x plus y raised to n. You know how to deal with that. Multinomial theorem, on the other hand, involves more than two terms. Okay. So here, how you expand this is we'll write this as sigma, but then you won't write it iteratively. You will write it in the cases where, okay, so first, before I start off, I'll put k1 factorial, k2 factorial, k3 factorial, k4 factorial. One second. One second. I'm not getting the proper form of this thing. Raised to k1, y raised to k2, z raised to k3, w raised to k4, and then like n factorial divided by higher. Okay, my bad. I just lost train of thought already. Okay. Like, this is multinomial theorem. Okay. Binomial theorem, what do you do? If it was x plus y raised to n, we'll write it as n factorial divided by x raised to r and y raised to n minus r, right? Divided by r factorial into n minus r factorial. And then you put sigma r equal to 0 to n. This is how you take care of binomial theorem, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So multinomial theorem, there's one slight difference. Okay, instead of r and n minus r, I'm going to use k1 and k2 here. Okay. X raised to k1, y raised to k2. So then below there'll be k1 factorial and k2 factorial, because these are the powers in which you put the factorial in the denominator. Okay.
Yes, sir.
This much you got, no? Now, okay, so
Yes.
this is nothing but that NCR part only. But then the condition here you apply is that k1 plus k2 should be equal to n. That's the condition. Okay. So in this case, you will write k1 plus k2 plus k3 plus k4 is equal to n. So you'll take all such cases where the sum is equal to n. This is how you take care of multinomial theorem. Did you understand the basic level here? Multinomial theorem?
Yes, sir.
Like how it's connected to binomial theorem? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, when you solve problems, understand that you'll be looking for all cases where k1 plus k2 plus k3 plus k4 is equal to n. Remember that k1, k2, k3, and k4 have to be between 0 and n. Integer values between 0 and n. But then we're looking at the cases where the sum is equal to n. Right? We'll be looking for all the cases. You'll have to individually find them out. That is why multinomial theorem problems might seem long, but the concept is the same. Okay, it's the very same only. Right? Got this?
Yes.
Okay, this is multinomial theorem. Like if they ask you for a general term, you put whatever is inside this white color bracket. This will be the general term. If they ask you for the coefficient of x square, y cube, z raised to 4, omega raised to 5 in this thing raised to 20, what do you do? X plus y plus z plus w raised to 20. You want to find this x square, y cube, z power 4, w power 5. You want to find the coefficient of this. How would you find this? You put k1.
K1 plus K2 plus K3 equal plus K.
K1 plus k2 plus k3. Sorry, come again.
Plus K4. So K1 plus K2 plus K3 plus K4 equal to 20.
Okay. So, no, but then here they're asking for a specific value here. Yeah, that is how you check for this. The general multinomial theorem. That is correct. What you said there is correct. But we are asked to find the coefficient of x square, y cube, z power 4, omega power 5 in this expansion. What will the coefficient be?
So is it like, yes, for K1, K2, they are substituting 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, but then, so in our context, what will the answer be?
So it'll be 20 factorial divided by 2 factorial into 3 factorial into 4 factorial into 5 factorial.
Okay. So now I want you to realize that this is the, like, I wanted you to make this mistake. Okay. I led you to this, frankly. All right. So this is the mistake that will normally happen for most people. All right. So the thing here is you have to first check K1 plus K2 plus K3 plus K4. Is it actually equal to 20?
No.
Equal to 14. So, which means this will have no coefficient. Basically, the answer will be 0. Okay, that's the idea here. All right. Only those where the sum of the coefficients, like the sum of the powers come up to 20, will there be a non-zero coefficient. Otherwise, it will be zero. Those terms will not exist in the expansion. Okay. So that is one confusion I wanted you to clarify. This is okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that was a trick question here. Okay. It was a small question, but now you got a better hold of multinomial theorem.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this multinomial theorem, the name sounds complicated, so it can be scary. That's it. It's nothing. Nothing. All right. Like thing is, you have to be calm and be prepared to, solve case by case, which all cases where the sum will be equal to 20. All right. Kids. Not that hard. So Harish, good
Sir,
morning. Yeah, ask.
sir, in application of derivatives, did we do that approximation?
Application of derivatives, did we do approximation? So I told you, right? When the power is, when the x term, like using the eraser to draw. We're using 1 plus x raised to n. All right. If x is very small compared to 1, or if you say x plus y raised to n, if y is very small compared to x or something, that is the only case where you can use approximation. So if you want to use 1.005 raised to 3, you want to find the value of this. What would you do? You write it as 1 plus 0.005 power 3. Okay. And when I expand this, what will I get? First term will be 1 plus 3c1, like 3c0 into 1 raised to 3. Then 3c1, which is 3, into 0.005 raised to 1 plus 3c2, which is again 3, into 0.005 square plus.
Square into 1.
Okay, and then this one will be 2. Okay. Thing is, these two terms are very small. This is where the approximation part is. So you just take the first two terms that are required. Got that?
Yes.
It's as simple as that. That's it. Okay, so you just ignore the remaining terms, go for the first two terms, and then find the sum if it's given that this is much smaller than this. Okay, because then you can ignore the square terms and the cube terms. That's the idea. So this is how you approximate. Got this?
Yes, sir.
So I think I mentioned it in the class, but if I haven't mentioned it, I'm really sorry. This is the way to do it. Okay, I haven't put much stress on approximation part because they don't generally ask much on approximation. And that's why. But yeah, since the pattern keeps changing.
They'll ask it because it's part of the deleted portion. That's what they do.
Oh, all right. So yeah, so you're okay with this? Just take the first two terms. That's it. In the expansion, like the first two significant real terms, right? That is the approximation part. Okay, so good morning, guys. Let's begin the class now. Right. So we are looking at selections. Right. So like all possible kinds of selection. Like you learn this properly, you will be pretty good at this chapter. Like this. Yeah, along with the distribution, if you learn, you'll be pretty good at this chapter. So let's start with the selections. You select R items from n different objects. How many ways can you do this? How many ways can you select R items from n different objects? Then Okay, we have to select R items from n different objects. How many ways can we do this? Like R is less than or equal to n always. All right, let's assume. And R has to be greater than or equal to 0. So how
n
many ways can we do
factorial
it?
by n minus r factorial.
Come again?
N factorial by n minus r factorial.
This is NPR, right? You're talking about.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so Shriani, notice that this is selection, not arrangement. You're just selecting. So if you select R items from N and then arrange it, that is NPR. Okay, right. But we are looking only to select it. Okay, so we shouldn't arrange them. Understood?
Yes, sir.
So here, how many ways? NCR. That's your answer. Okay. All right, got this. It's not NPR, it's NCR. That's a number of ways of selecting R items from n different objects. Think about it. You have 3 people with you, from which you have to select 2. How many ways can you do it? 3C2, right?
Yes, I got it.
Okay. So now R items from n identical objects. How many ways can you do that? So imagine like and imagine, just look at this actually. 3 markers of the same color. Okay, imagine 3 markers of the same color. How many ways can I pick one? Like
N
3
ways.
identical.
N ways.
In how many ways? You have 3 objects. You have 3 objects of the same identical type.
3 ways.
Right? The answer will not be 3. Come on, think about it. Think about it. Like I'm showing you 3 different colors. That's why you're thinking 3. Okay. So if I have to select 2, it'll be what? If it's that is when there are 3 different objects. Okay, I'll just take same pens. Hey guys, you can imagine, right? Imagine all of them are red. Okay. All of these are red color marker pens. They all look identical. There's nothing differentiating both any of them. All right. So you pick any one. Like how many ways can you pick one? Suppose that's the question. You pick any one. There's only one way in which you can pick one, right? Because they are all identical. It's all the same thing you're picking. Understood? Like, like I think a visual demo is better than any other explanation. Okay, so you have 3 pens with you. Okay, so you pick any one, it's the same, right? Because they are all identical. That's the reason. Okay, guys, this is pretty tricky till you understand it. Once you understand it, I don't think it'll leave you. All right. So you pick any one of these 3, it's the same. Did you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, they're all identical. Okay. So now, how many ways can you pick 2 from them? How many ways can you pick 2 items from them?
1 way.
1 way, correct? Because any 2 you pick, right? You're just picking 2. That's the idea. They're all the same pens. Okay, so this happens in 1 way. Right. So here, different items you pick are it is in NCR ways. So the only differentiating factor is how many did you pick from the identical objects, right? So I pick 1 at a time means I can do that in 1 way. I pick 2 at a time means I can do it in 1 way basically. I pick any 2, it's basically the same thing. All right. I pick any 2, it's the same 2 identical black pens. Okay. Now, select at least R items from n different items. How many ways can you do that? So here there's a process. Okay, you can select R items in NCR ways, or you can select R plus 1 items in NCR plus 1 ways. You can select R plus 2 objects in NCR plus 2 ways. You're selecting at least R, right? So you can go on till you select all n of them. Got this? This will be the number of ways. In other words, you can write this as sigma NCR, where R moves from R to N. Put it that way. Okay, or NCK, where K moves from R to N. That's much better. Got this?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so the number of ways of picking R objects is NCR. Number of ways of picking R plus 1 objects is NCR plus 1. You just broke the question down into separate cases. All the way up till n objects at a time you select. That is NC n here. All right. Now you have to select at least R objects from n identical objects. How many ways can you do that? You select at least R objects from n identical objects. How many ways is that done? Come on, guys.
Sir, is it also just one?
Okay, so it's not exactly one, but a collection of ones. The question is how many ones are we talking about? In
So
the sense
n.
that not exactly n, not n either. You have to select R objects. Okay, you have to select R objects. Then you have to select R plus 1 objects. You have to select R plus 2 objects. You can select all the way up till all of the n objects. You select R objects in how many ways? One way. Or you select R plus 1 objects. So that also comes under this case, at least R items. Right? So R plus 1 objects are selected in one way. They're all identical, don't forget. All right. R plus 2 objects are selected in one way. Okay. This goes all the way up till n objects at a time, which you select in one way only. Got this much? So remember this, guys. Whenever the number of objects, whenever the objects are all identical, the only way in which you can select is based on the number of objects. All right. So these many ones are added up. How many ones are added up? What will this come up to?
N minus R.
Close. It's n minus r plus
Plus.
1. Okay. Great. So from look at it this way, from r plus 0 till
R.
till n. Okay. So that can be written as r plus n minus r. I can write it this way, right? I can write n this way, r plus n minus r.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you can see this goes from r plus 0, r plus 1, r plus 2, all the way up till r plus n minus r. So how many terms are there? 0, 1, 2, 3, up till n minus r. So not n minus r terms, there are n minus r plus 1 terms. Okay, from 1 to n minus r and gone, I can see, I can say that it's going for, it has n minus r terms. But from 0 to n minus r, I'm looking at n minus r plus 1 terms. Got this, guys? Guys, are you all getting this or not? Do you have any doubts here?
No, sir.
I hope all of you got this. No need to remember all this. Just understand the logic inside out. All right. Like understand it properly because you will apply it at many places. All right. Okay. So most of the tough questions that come from permutation combination will be around this area, what I'm about to teach now. Okay. So yeah, we'll do a question, shall we? Guys, can I get a response or two?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, there are 4 bags, B1, B2, B3, B4. B1 contains N1 identical objects. B2. Okay, so N1 identical objects of type 1. Okay, B2 contains N2 identical objects of type 2. B3 contains N3 different objects. Right? So I don't need to bring in a type. They're all different objects. B4 contains N4 different objects. Right? And it's given to me that N1, N2, N3, and N4 are in ascending order. Okay. You have to find the following. Is this much clear? The premise?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. No. You have to find the total number of possible selections. Right. That's the first part. Then at least one. From each box. Okay, we'll start with these two. There are many subparts. Okay. So total number of possible selections. What are we looking at?
Sir,
Hmm.
got the answer for B, but then A, I didn't exactly understand the question. Total number of
Pick any
possible
number of
selections.
selections. You can select 0 items from any of them. You can select nothing at all from all of them. Like any number of selections. Hmm.
Okay, sir.
So, okay, let's start with B then. Hmm. B seems like the logical first thing to do actually. Hmm. At least one from each box. There are 4 boxes here, B1, B2, B3, and B4. Now it's given that B1 has N1 identical objects. So how many ways can I select at least one?
N1 minus 2.
Wait, minus 2.
Sorry, sir. N1.
Look, so the idea is you can select one object. Okay, let's forget this. Let's look at B1 now. Okay, look at the box B1. B1 has N1 identical objects. What are the total number of selections? The total number of selections. Select nothing. How many ways can you select nothing? In one way. Select one item. In how many ways? They are all identical, okay? You can select that in one way. You can select 2 items. That is in 2 ways. 3 items in one. Sorry, 2 items. That is also in one way because they are all identical. All right. Whenever you pick 2, since they are identical, in way only. Okay, and so on till you pick all of them together. So how many such ones are there? You're picking 0 items, you're picking 1 item, you're picking 2 items, all the way up till picking all the N1 items. So how many such ones are there?
N1 plus 1.
1 plus 1. Okay. All right. So similarly, B2 has N2 identical objects. Total for B2 will be N2 plus 1.
Yes, sir. But in the question, it's given that we have to select at least one from each box.
That's the B part. That's the B part. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Right? Yes, am I audible? My internet connection is unstable right now. It's on something like that. Yes, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So B3 has N3 different objects. So how many ways can I do all possible selections? Nothing in NC ways. I can select 1 in NC1 ways. I can select 2 in NC2 ways, and so on till NCN ways. Is this much clear?
Yes, sir.
TCN3. Okay, this will come up to how much? 2 power N3. Binomial theorem, forgot? B4 has similarly N4 different objects.
Sir, they didn't teach us this progressions in binomial theorem.
Come again?
They didn't teach the progressions in binomial theorem. Like,
No, this is a simple summation. Okay. Finally, thank you for asking. All right. Okay, so how do you expand this? X plus y raised to n. How do you expand this binomial theorem? Let's use it. Come on, quickly. Binomial theorem, they should minimum teach this, right? NC0, x power n, y power 0, plus NC1, x power n minus 1, y power 1, all the way up till NCN, x power 0, y power n. Do you understand what happens here? This product is there, right? X power something, y power something. X power, the power goes from n minus 1 till 0. Now y's power will go from 0, 1 all the way up till n. NC0, NC1 all the way up till NCN are the terms inside. Is this much clear, guys? Guys, if you
Yes, sir.
don't respond, I have no incentive to teach. All right. Okay. Like, if you study, you'll get through JEE. I hope you know that. So when you study, you should know, what you don't know, what you should focus on. All right. To have a fair idea of that, you better start responding in class. Then only you will even get to know what you know or what you don't know. Okay, because by normal human nature, right, we tend not to test ourselves. So put that ego behind and start responding. Am I clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
All of you. Am I clear? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So put that ego aside and start responding in class if you want to learn anything. All right. So here, this is the expansion, binomial theorem expansion. Is there anyone who had no clue what this was?
We knew this, sir.
You knew this before?
Yes, sir.
Then put x and y equal to 1 in this above expansion. What do you get?
Two per n.
Like, we're just looking for the sum of the exponents. Understand this, okay? We're looking for the sum of these exponents, like sum of the coefficients here. Okay. So for that, what I'll do is I'll simply substitute x equal to y equal to 1. X and y terms will go off, right? And this will become 1 plus 1 raised to n, which is 2 power n. Okay, so the sum of the series nc0 plus nc1 plus nc2 all the way up to ncn is 2 power n. This is important and is part of the basics of binomial theorem. Okay, is this crystal clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
Right, shall I proceed? The rest of you, please answer.
Yes, sir.
All right, now 2 power n is this sum. Okay, so similarly, N3C0, N3C1, N3C2, all the way up to N3CN3 will become 2 power N3. Similarly, B4, which has N4 different balls, will have 2 power N4 ways of selecting, like total number of selections, selecting 0 or more. Okay, so the answer for the first part will be you select any number from box 1, any number from box 2, any number from box 3, and any number from box 4. Is this clear to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is the total number of possible selections. Right? Now, 1 second. So here, okay. But there is a problem, right? Is there a problem?
No, sir.
Okay. So this is the total number of possible selections where you can select 0 or more from any of these. Okay. I hope this part is crystal clear to all of you. Right? Now, selecting at least one from each box. What are we talking about here? For B1, how many cases are there? The 0 case alone I'll remove because you'll have to select at least one. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I'm left with how many ones? N1 ones. Similarly, B2 will have N2 ones. B3, you'll have to select at least one, right? What do you do here? You take NC0 out. The remaining is there, which means this minus N3C0. What's N3C0 or any NC0? That's 1 only. Okay, we bring that up here. It becomes 2 power N3 minus 1 for box 3 and 2 power N4 minus 1 for box 4. Is this much clear?
Clear, sir.
The remaining. Harish, is this clear to you or do you have any doubts here? Please answer.
No, sir. No, sir. No.
Okay. Varun,
No doubts.
Aditi, Aditi, am I audible? Now, let's look at the next two parts of this question. Find the number of selections such that you select no objects. No objects from B3. And the D part is you select at least one object from B3. Okay, start doing these two parts. After we solve this, the next two parts will come out. Yeah. Actually, after we solve this, the next three parts will come out. It might be a little lengthy, but let's do this. Yeah. Select no objects from B3. How many ways?
So just one way.
Look, there are 4 boxes there, okay? 4 boxes are there. You have to select from all of them. B1,
Okay, sir. Okay.
B2, B3 and
I thought
B4,
it's
okay?
only B.
Yeah,
B3.
yeah, yeah. That way, yes, B3 has only one way in which you can select no objects from B3. What about B1, B2, B1, B2 and B4? So now I want you to add another subcondition actually. Select. So because after this, you will get the remaining answer. That's not an issue. Select at least one object in total, right? You have to select at least one object in total, while at the same time, no objects are selected from B3.
Sir, it's n1 plus 1 into n2 plus 1 into 1 into 2 power n power 4. N4.
N4, correct. And then from this, you subtract one case. You're almost correct, okay? Almost correct. Just that you subtract one from this because you have to select at least one object in total. What if there'll be one case where you select nothing from all the 4, right? Got this? So that case should be removed. Because of this extra case I gave at the end. Okay. So without this extra case at the end, what you said would have been the correct answer, Shriyani. You are absolutely right. Okay, got this? Is that -1 came because of that last case I added. At least one object should be selected in total. So you have to imagine, okay, there'll be one case where I select nothing from B1, nothing from B2, nothing from B3, nothing from B4. How many ways can I do that? In one way. And that is the one case I removed. That's why the -1 came out outside. Is this clear?
Clear, sir.
All right. Now we have to select at least one object from B3. What happens here? Okay, and then select at least one object in total. That subcondition is also there. So what happens here now? Select at least one object from B3. How many ways can we do that? Come on.
Sir, is it n1 plus 1 into n2 plus 1 into 2 power n3 minus 1 into 2 power n4?
Is this what you meant?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I have a doubt for you guys. If I put a -1, will my answer be correct or wrong? Think about it. The -1 in the same logic. At least one object in total also is the condition I gave. Should the -1 be there or not? Guys, if you're confused, don't worry. I'm purposefully trying to confuse you. All right. So that you get to the bottom of it when you solve it again. Okay. So you have to select at least one object from V3. This is the condition given. Will the -1 I put outside, the answer Varun gave me, will it make the answer correct or wrong?
That includes.
Sorry?
Sir, you need not include because already.
Yes, you're selecting at least one object already. There's no case where you're selecting no object. There's nothing you're removing from this batch. All right. All of you got this? You're already selecting at least one object here. So which means you're already selecting one object in total. At least one object in total. So that condition is by default satisfied. Okay. All of you got this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Any doubts here? Any doubts here, guys? Doesn't look like it. I'll move on to the next part. Go one at a time. You have to select equal number of objects greater than or equal to 1 from B1 and B2. Selecting equal number of objects greater than or equal to 1 from B1 and B2. How many ways can we do this? Think about it properly and apply. Come on.
Sir, is it n1 square into 2 power n3 my 2 power n3 and 2 power n4?
N1 square into 2 power n3, 2 power n4. No, not exactly. All right. So we'll solve it now. You're close to the answer, but a little away from it. All right. Like these two parts are perfect. Half of this is perfect. Okay. Not half of this, a part of this is perfect. Right. So B1 and B2, you have to select equal number of objects. B1 has identical objects, B2 also has identical objects. So the idea here is that I pick one from B1 and one from B2. How many ways do I do that? One way. Right. I pick one from B1. At the same time, I pick one from B2. I pick any one from B1, N1 identical objects for B1. I pick any one of N2 identical objects for B2. That is in one way. This is 1 and 1 case. Next 2 and 2 case will give one way. 3 and 3 case will be done in one way. And so on and so
So
forth.
it's 1 and 1.
Exactly. So you'll go till N1 and N1 cases. Okay. You won't go beyond that because B1 has only N1 objects. You can't take more than N1 objects. Okay. B2 has N2 objects. N2 is greater than N1. It's given in the question. But we won't go all the way up till N2. Why? B1 has N1 objects. That's the maximum number of objects you can select from there. You can't select anything more than that. So, which means B2, you can't select more than N1 objects. Got this? Right. So, by that logic, selecting both B1 and B2 is done in N1 ways. Varun, did you get this now?
Yes.
Okay. So, basically, the square will not be there, and then your answer will be spot on correct. Got this?
Yes, sir.
All right. Then what do we have? Next question is the F part, which will be selecting one object more from B2 than B1. How many ways can you do this?
Sir, it's N1 plus 1 into 2 per N3 into 2 per N4.
1 plus 1 into 2 per N3 into 2 per N4. How come? How do we get that? Because we split it up into cases. B1 may you take 0 and B2 you take 1 because no other condition is given. B1 you can take 0. That is done in one way. B1, from B1 you take 1 and from B2 you take 2. That is done in one way. From B1 you can take 1 in one way. From B2 you can take 2 in one way. You multiply both, you get one way. So like this you add all the way up till N1 from B1 and N1 plus 1 from B2. Is also done in one way. So from 1 to N1 plus 1 you get N1 plus 1 number of ways of selecting B1 and B2. Now B3 and B4 has N2, N3 and N4 objects. So this is what remains and this will be a final answer here. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Guys, is it getting confusing or is it doable? What's going on in your head? Please tell me.
Doable, sir.
Okay.
It's
Uh,
okay, sir.
Okay. Harish?
So,
Yeah. Do you feel it's easy, tough, medium? Where do you think it falls? This question.
medium, sir.
Medium. Okay. But once you get the logic, no, that's it. Did you understand the logic here? Varun, you also.
Yes, sir.
Problem will be solved there itself. Okay. Problem takes care of itself after that. Now let's look at the G part. What is G part? Selecting equal number of objects.
Sir, it's
Tell
so
me.
just a clarification.
Please, please,
So
please.
it's like it's just like more like the E part plus 1. No, sir.
No. It's E part plus 2 par N3 plus N 2 par N3 plus N4.
Yes, sir. I got that, but I'm specifically asking about
Yes.
the B2 and
That N1 plus 1 and N1. That's totally different. Yes.
yes, sir.
The N1 plus 1 ways of arranging B1 and B2, of selecting B1 and B2. There are N1 ways of selecting B1 and B2 in the first case. Right? Correctly. That's the only difference from the two questions here. Okay. Now we are looking at equal number of objects from B1, B3 and B4. Okay. Greater than equal to 1. So as you know, the first two boxes, no conditions given. So total number of selections will be n1 plus 1 into n2 plus 1. Now B3 and B4, how do you take care of? They have all different objects. You have to pick 1 and 1, you have to pick 2 and 2, you have to pick 3 and 3, and so on. All the way up till n3 and n3. That's the idea. How many ways can this be done? There are n3 different objects in B3 from which you select one in n3C1 ways. There are n4 different objects in B4 from which you select one in n4C1 ways. N3C2, n4C2, and so on till n3CN3, n4C3. Okay, and this expansion, this here, this summation, okay, what I want you to notice is that first, NCR is equal to NCN minus R. You know this already? Guys, do you know this already?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I can write the series as N3C1, N4C, N4 minus 1. Okay, then I'll get N3C2 into N4C, N4 minus 2 plus N3C3 into N4C, N4 minus 3 plus so on and so forth till N3C, N3 into N4C, N4 minus N3. Why did I write it this way? First, can you try to guess that? Why did I use NCR equal to NCN minus R? Or in other words, once I use this NCR equal to NCN minus R, what is the special thing that happened here?
So I think it's used when R is equal to n minus R.
Not R equal to N minus R. We are trying to bring in a case where this is the product of two binomial coefficients, right? The sum of product of two binomial coefficients taken two at a time, right? Like NC something and so like N3C something and N4C something else. Okay. All right. So once you do that, you notice that here in all these, the sum of these subscripts 1 plus N4 minus 1 is what? N4. 2 plus N4 minus 2 is what? N4. Okay. So this is some NCR into NCS. Thing is, R plus S is a constant. All right. Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
If I kept it as it is, I wouldn't be able to see that property happening. Okay. Are you getting this? So whenever you get such problems, why don't you ask, right, about binomial theorem? Like these problems, how do you solve? Like this is the first step. Okay, one of them you convert to NCN minus R. One of these NCRs you convert to NCN minus R, and then play with the rest. You'll notice that the sum of the subscripts are the same. Once you see that the sum of the subscripts are the same, okay, you look for any missing term in the series. Is there any missing term in the series? Yes. Like this entire series would have been completed had I added NC0. into NC4, N4, C, N4. Sorry, N3C0 into N4, C, N4. Like if I add this and subtract the same thing, what happens? N4, C, N4 is 1, NC0, anything is 1. So it'll be this entire series minus 1. Okay, this completed series minus 1. Is this much clear to everybody? How I completed the series and put minus 1? Like I see N3C1, N3C2. There's N3C0 that's missing. All right, to complete the series, N3C0 is missing. So I added the missing term in. Now that missing term I added in basically was nothing but 1 only. Okay, so I subtracted 1 outside the bracket. Is
Yes,
this
sir.
much clear or not? Do you need another
Yeah.
explanation?
Yes, sir.
Clear, sir.
Right. So now, while learning binomial theorem, I'll teach you the theory behind it. But for now, just remember, when you have such a series coming up, where the sum of the coefficients, okay, sum of the subscripts are the same. It's a product of two binomial coefficients such that the sum of the subscripts are the same. Okay, so constant. What you'll write this entire answer would be add both of them up. Okay, N3 and N4. N3 plus N4. See what the constant they are all. What is the constant? N4. Okay, and then this minus 1 was outside. So this minus 1 comes here. This was multiplied by what value is n plus 1 into n plus 2. So this term is multiplied by n1 plus 1 into n2 plus 1. Sorry, not n plus 1 and n plus 2. It was n1 plus 1 into n2 plus 1. Right? Guys, got this? This will be your final answer. Okay, this is something that's there as a result in binomial theorem, but I don't think it's there in your NCERT book. Okay, so for solving JEE level problems related to binomial theorem, this is an important thing. So right now, for the sake of remembering it, for the sake of understanding this problem, remember this much. All right. I'll teach you the same thing in binomial theorem with explanation. But for now, to save time as well, is this clear? Like till this step, it should be crystal clear. Even if you leave it at this step, you'll get an idea. Okay. But at least is it clear till this step properly?
Yes, sir. But sir, I have a doubt.
Ask please.
Sir, can you just explain the part of NCR is equal to NCN minus R? Like just a brief about
Okay.
it.
Sorry. Yeah, I should have asked that first. NCR is n factorial by R factorial into n minus R factorial, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what is NC n minus R? That is n factorial by, instead of R factorial, I'll put n minus R factorial. And instead of n minus R factorial, I'll put n minus this thing. N minus R factorial, right? What does this come up to? This is nothing but R factorial. And that's why both of them are the same. Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, I should have expected it.
Sorry? No. Like you shouldn't have expanded it when I was explaining that. It's either something you know or you didn't know. So you didn't know it that time, it's fine. All right. But now you know it. Another way of thinking about this is, you know Pascal's triangle, guys? All of you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, and so on. Okay, this is Pascal's triangle. So this is the coefficient of x plus y raised to 1. This will be the coefficient of x plus y raised to 2. What is it? This 1 is nothing but 2c0. This is 2c1. And this is 2c2. Okay, and these will be the coefficients of x plus y raised to 2. And so on. So you can see that they are all symmetric. All right. So this property NCR equal to NCN minus R is showing the symmetric property of Pascal's triangle. Is this much clear? It shows that from the ends, these terms will be equal. Hmm? Are you getting this?
Yes, sir.
That is what NCR equal to NCN minus R actually does. That is actually what it means. Right? So if you didn't know that, you'll have to expand and then find out. Expanding is a pain. If you know this, that much easier. Got this now?
Yes, I got it.
Okay, NCR equal to NCN minus R. Remember both the ways. Expansion is there. That is one way. That is the standard way of doing it. But I want you to think like this. Pascal's triangle, it will be symmetric. Okay. Now, from this step to this step would be something I'll have to explain to you during binomial theorem. Okay, that is my responsibility. Right? Got that? The remaining, I hope you guys understood. Right? Please tell me if you have any notes. Okay. So, yeah. Now let's go to grouping and distributing. Grouping is something we did. All right. Already, right? How many ways can we form the groups? Like if you have n items and n different items and you want to divide it into groups like this of K1, K2, K3, how would you divide into groups? K3 factorial. So suppose you want to divide into two groups of K1 each and other groups of K2 and K3. So then you'll multiply by K1 factorial and the 2 factorial here because it'll be K1 factorial square. There are two groups within them, they can interchange. I hope you remember this from last class. Okay. None of you are responding. I'm having strong doubts whether you're even understanding what I'm currently saying. Okay. But since none of you are asking anything, I'll be continuing. So you have to distribute these items. How many ways can we distribute? Let's learn distributing. Okay. So n different objects are distributed amongst n people. How many ways can we do this? N different objects are to be distributed amongst n people. One object is given to each. Okay. One object is given to each gets exactly one object. How many ways can we do this?
N factorial ways.
Exactly. Thank you. Right, you do this in n factorial ways. What is happening? You have n items and n places to fill it up in. N places meaning each person. Okay, so you have n items to be filled up in n different places. It's done in n factorial ways. You know this already. All right. It's just sad the rest of you aren't responding. Only Sri Harini is responding. Okay. I know what the rest of you guys are doing, but yeah, please start responding. Put your ego aside. It's not going to serve you any good in your life. Your ego. Right. Now, you have n different objects to be distributed amongst R people. Okay, there is no restriction on the number of objects to be distributed. So no restriction is there. You have to distribute n different objects to R people. N different objects to be distributed to R people. How many ways can this happen? Without any restriction on who gets how many items. So you can give all the n items to one person. That is also fine. Like it has no restriction that way. How many ways can this happen, guys? Come on.
So do we use the choosing thing like in the selection?
Come again?
Like we choose two people and then distribute it. Is that
Uh,
what we use?
Audible. Can you please speak louder?
So do we use the choosing method what we did for the selection same way when it's a different item or something?
So, like, how do you apply that? I didn't fully get you. That's why I'm asking again.
No, so we choose different people and then distribute it like that. Is that how we do it?
So, it's something like that. It's something like that. So, each object is different. So, it doesn't matter which person it goes to, right? It has to go to one person though. It has to be distributed. So, this object has R options. Are you getting this? The R people can go to any of the R people it can go to. Basically, each object has R options. All right. So, what's the total number of options I'm looking at? Total number of ways I can do this? R par n. All right. N different objects to R people such that there is no restriction is done in R par n ways. Okay, this is distribution. Now, the next kind of distribution. Number of ways. Distribute all n different objects among R people where R is greater than n. Okay, this time is different. Where R is greater than n. Such that no one gets more than one object. Number of ways all n different objects are distributed among R people are greater than n such that no one gets more than one object. So again, there are n objects and R different people, but the difference is that R is greater than n now, and nobody should get more than one object. If a person gets an object, that's it. It's done. How do you do this? Okay, there are n people. Sorry, there are R people, and there are n objects where R is greater than n. All right. So can you tell me how many people will get objects?
N people.
Okay, good. That's a start. So, n people will get objects. So, from the R people that are there, you select n people first. Are you getting this clearly? So, these are the people who will get the objects. Okay. So, you select n people and then distribute the objects to them. Okay. So, now you're left with 1, 2, 3, all the way up till n people. N people and n objects, you have to distribute them. You selected the people to which you will give the objects to. Now you have to distribute them. Now what does it become? You have n objects and n people. How many ways can you take care of that? Everybody gets one.
N factorial.
N factorial ways. That's it. All right. So you have 18 people and 10 objects. How many ways can you take care of this here? From the 18 people, I select 10 people who will get the objects. Okay. You have 18 people and 10 objects such that nobody gets more than one. No one gets more than one. And then everybody gets less than or equal to one. So from the 18 people, you select 10 who will get exactly one. And you distribute those 10 objects to those 10 people in 10 factorial ways. And this will be your answer. Hope you got this. Move on to our next point. N different objects are distributed among R people. Okay. No restriction on number of objects. No restriction on the number of objects per person. and the number of distribution of objects. No restriction on the number of objects of per person and the number of objects distributed. So suppose you are not distributing all of them. You distribute only some of them. Okay. So how many such cases can exist? That's the question. So in bracket I'll write at least one should be distributed. Okay. At least one is distributed. How many ways does that happen? We have n different objects and r people. Okay, so imagine these are people to be r different boxes. All right. Now, it's not given that all have to be distributed. So you can distribute only one, you can distribute only two, you can distribute only three, and so on. Okay. So one way of doing this is from the n objects, you decide to select, you distribute only one. So from n objects, you select the one that will be distributed. How many ways can that be distributed?
N factorial, sir.
Into r ways. Why? Because there only r people it can go to. You select the one that can be distributed and then distribute it in r ways. It can only go to any of these r options, r people. All right. Next, you select two objects. Okay. So the first object, you select the two objects in NC2 ways. So basically, you highlight two objects inside this. The first object will have r options. The second object will also have r options. You can go to that same place again also. That's not an issue. It's still a distribution. Because there's no restriction on the number of objects per person. Right. Next, it'll be NC3 into R cube all the way up till NCN into R bar n. Okay. This is the number of ways of distributing n different objects amongst R people such that there are no restrictions on the number of objects per person and the number of distributed objects. Okay. Now, there's another way of looking at this. Did everybody get the first part?
Yes, sir.
No doubts here?
No, sir.
Okay. So, there's another way of looking at this. I'll bring in another box, the r plus 1th box. Okay. This is the non-distributed box. Okay. So, the idea here is I'll pick each of these objects. I'll pick each and every object and decide which bucket it will go to. Okay. There are r plus 1 buckets here. So, either it goes to those r people or it goes to the r plus 1 bucket, which means it is not distributed. Is the idea making sense to you? I sincerely hope so. All right. So the idea here is there are R people here. Person 1, person 2, person 3, person 4, person 5, all the way up till person R. Now I bring in another person. I bring in myself there. So the idea is this. There are n objects. So I look at each object. I decide which person should I give it to. So each object, there are n objects here. So each object has R options. For person it goes to, but then it can also not be distributed, each object. I hope you're getting this logic. If it's not distributed, it will go into this box where I am there. So if the object is not given to any of those R people, give it to me. Like I'm the person distributing it. Okay, you include yourself in the question now. Okay, each object has R options of going. Either it goes to any of those R people or it goes to you. Basically, it's not distributed. You can think like that. Okay. So each object has R plus one options. So it becomes R plus 1 power n. But it's given to me that at least one is distributed. So that one case I'll remove where nothing is distributed. Okay. Where everything goes to R plus 1. Every one of these objects goes to my box. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So again, here to complete the series, I'll bring in NC0 R bar 0 and I'll subtract NC0 R bar 0. What is NC0 R bar 0? NC0 is 1, R bar 0 is also 1. And this entire summation, I hope you can see from binomial theorem that this is nothing but R plus 1 raised to n. Okay, I hope you can build the connect from both the methods. You learn whatever I'm teaching you today, right? Inside out. You're good at this chapter. Like, end of story. Whatever I taught today, if you learn it properly, you're pretty awesome at this chapter already. Okay, as simple as that. Are you all following this much?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so, okay. Tell me the answer. 10 different objects. Let's quickly solve. 10 different objects are distributed to 10 persons. How many ways can we do this? Hey, don't remember the formulas. Don't remember this as formula. It's too confusing to remember it that way. Remember it with the logic. Okay, remember the logic behind each of these. Know that there is a formula. Don't try to specially remember the formulas. First, try to understand what is going on here. And then if you want, like to save time and all, then try to remember formula. But first, always try to understand the concept. Okay, you have 10 different objects. You're distributing 10 people such that each gets one. How many ways can we do this? What's my answer? Come on, guys. What's the answer here? 10
10
different
per
objects
10.
are. Sorry?
10 per 10.
No. One is given to each. The condition is there. Exactly, one is given to each of these people. So in this one, R1 plus 1 raised to n and all, what happened?
10 factorial size.
Exactly. This is just a 10 factorial problem. Okay, the next question. 10 different objects are given to 7 persons. And then there is no restriction, just that all must be distributed. Right? It's given that all should be distributed. And 10 different objects are given to 7 persons. How many ways can this be done? So immediately in your mind, once you see that there are 7 persons and 10 different objects, 7 persons means 7 different buckets. 10 different objects, all should be distributed, which means all these 10 should fall into any of these 7 buckets, right? So each of these objects has 7 options, which means we're looking at 7 power 10. Okay. Let's look at our next question. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you guys are choosing not to respond. Cool. Okay, you have 7 different objects, you're giving it to 12 people. No one gets more than one. Okay. Nobody gets more than one object. How many ways can you do this? There's 7 different objects to 12 people. No one gets more than one object, which means There are 12 people from which 7 of them will get exactly one object. So you select those 7 first and then decide how to distribute those 7 objects you have in 7 factorial ways. Okay. You have 9 different objects that are given to 7 people, where at least one should be distributed. How many ways is this done?
7 to 9, sir.
Hmm?
Seven power 9.
It's not given that every item should be distributed. So you, like, once you see, okay, everything need not be distributed, what do? You include yourself in the counting. You're distributing items, 9 objects. You make 7 buckets for 7 people and the 8th bucket for yourself. The objects that do not get distributed. So each of these 9 objects have 8 options each. Okay, so you get 8 power 9. But there'll be a case where all the objects go to the non-distributed, the new bucket you formed. So 8 power 9 minus 1 becomes your final answer here. I hope this was clear
So
to you.
I didn't really get that part.
The new bucket concept?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for asking. Thank you. I was waiting for someone to ask. All right. Now, so guys, like, if you understood everything, the class is done. I'm just explaining this part. The rest of you can leave. All right. So, yeah, so this is all I intended to teach today. So, yeah, 9 different people, 9 different objects are there. There are 7 people here. Let's make an easier case of this. Okay. So Varun is there, Harish is there, Sri Arni is there, then Aditi is here, and then I have 5 objects, or I have 2 objects with me. All right, I have 2 objects with me. Okay, 2 stars I have. Okay, and I want to give 2 stars amongst 4 people. Okay, so this is the question. Is this clear as of now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So 2 stars I want to give it to 4 people, but I can choose whether to distribute the 2 stars or not. Okay, got this? So what I'll do is, once I see that I need not distribute all the stars that I have, what will I do? I'll include myself in this conversation, in the calculation, sorry. Okay, so I am here, which means whatever star I put here, it means it was not distributed. It is still with me. Is this much clear?
So this means that nobody gets the star.
Exactly. None of you 4 people will get the star. I keep the star with me. I am being selfish there. That's what I'm saying. At least one should be distributed, in the sense that all need not be distributed. Okay. So it's not like these are the only 4 options the star has. The star can choose not to go anywhere, which is the 5th option I'm making up here. Okay, this is the dummy option here. All right. So each star has how many options? 5 options now. Okay. Are you getting this? So I'll say the total number of ways I can do this is 25. But then there is a case where I keep both the stars with me. Suppose I'm very angry at the 4 of you because none of you are responding. All right. So then I just keep the stars with me. Are you understanding the concept here? Okay. Like, I am hogging all the stars with me. But then it's given that at least one should be distributed. At least one should be given away. I can't be that selfish. All right. That is not allowed. So what will I do? I'll remove that one case where I keep both the stars. All right. So 25 minus 1 equal to 24 will be my final answer. As simple as that. The same thing goes even if I have 100 stars with me. Are you following? So then if I add 100 stars, what am I looking at? Each star has 5 options. It can go to any of the 4 of you, or it can choose not to be distributed by staying with me. All right. So each star has 5 options. How many stars are there? There are 100 stars. But what if all the 100 stars come to me? Like I keep all the 100 stars. That is basically hogging. Okay, that is not allowed because it's given that at least one should be distributed. So 5 per 100 minus 1 becomes your final answer.
So it's like the object has to be distributed no matter who gets it. Like at least one should be distributed.
Yeah, so that's the case here. At least one should be distributed. That's the idea here. So the other way of looking at it was like at least one should be distributed. No. So here, what you can do is you pick one to distribute. Okay, so I had 100 with me. From 100, I pick one that will be distributed. Pick one of the different stars. They're not the same stars, okay? They're all different stars, by the way. Different colored stars or whatever. Only in that case, this works. So suppose there were 100 different stars. So from there, I pick one star. And that one star has 4 options to go to. Okay. Now, I pick 2 stars. Okay, the first star has 4 options. The second star also has 4 options. Okay, I pick 3 stars. So this is going about it case by case, constructively building it up. Okay, so each of these 3 stars have 4 options. So I'm not including myself in the calculation now. Did you understand why? Because I'm going about this case by case. And so
Yes,
on.
sir.
Till I take all the 100 stars and give it 4 options, 4 per 100. Now this expansion, I'll add 100 C0, 4 per 0, and I'll subtract 1 from this. This is the same term. 100 C0 is 1, 4 per 0 is also 1. So I'll subtract 1 from this. This entire sum here is nothing but 1 plus 4 per 100. And from there I subtract 1. Guys, I would never suggest you learn only one of these methods. I would suggest you learn both of these methods so that your concept is crystal clear. All right. Is this clear, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that's about it for this class today. Do you have any notes?
No, sir.
Please ask your doubts if you have any.
Sir, I didn't understand at the end. The case by case.
The case by case, huh? Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm just picking one. You have to distribute all of them. Okay. So this is this case. 1 second. Okay. So I pick one. So this is distributing 1 here. 1 second. Distributing 1. This is distributing 2. This is distributing 3. This is distributing all 100 cases. The first line that I wrote here, does this make sense to you, Varun? Or is that your doubt? This line that I wrote here.
So that is the doubts.
Okay. Thank you. So I have 100 objects with me. I have 100 different objects with me. Now I want to distribute them in how many ever ways possible. So I'm going about this case by case. I'll distribute 1 first. So how do I distribute 1? First I'll select 1, right? From the 100 I have.
Yes, sir.
So I do that in 100C1 ways. I select one of them in 100C1 ways. Guys, the class is done. Okay, the rest of you, if you understood this, you can leave. All right, I'm actually being serious here. Okay, so from the 100, I pick 1 to distribute, and then what happens? That one will have how many options to go to? Like I have to make sure this gets distributed. I pick one to distribute. That's my intention. Not to distribute or not to distribute. That option is not there. Okay. I make sure this has to be distributed. So the one that gets selected, how many options does it have? You can pick any of the 4 of you, right? To go to.
Yes.
All right. So that's why this thing into 4. Now, the second part might be a little confusing because now I select 2 to distribute. Okay. So from the 100, I pick 2 in. 100C2 is okay. All right. So I pick this thing in 100C2 is. Then now, how many ways can I take care of these 2? How many ways?
4 into 4, sir, because
Exactly. It doesn't matter if both are in the same person also. It's fine. I am distributing 2. That is this case. Okay. How I distribute it, it's up to distribution. I'm distributing 2 at a time here. So that's why 100C2 into 4 into 4. Next, I select 3 at a time, 100C3. Now each of them have 4 options. Got this?
yes, sir.
Okay, like this, we go all the way up till 100C100. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay. Now, the other part is a little bit of binomial theorem. The next connect here. Like 1 plus x raised to 100 is written in the same way where instead of 4 you put x. Okay. Like you add this term and you subtract this term also. And then this is what happens. That is the last part of this question. As in, of this.
Okay.
Yeah. Got that?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Take care.